Hi everyone and welcome to Club 3 episode 9 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM22 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, we are just about to start a brand new season at Colwyn Bay, our second season in charge, having finished second last year. It's time to see if we can get further up the table and win the title this time round in the second tier of Wales. Only one promotion spot, remember, from our league, and we're going to try and get it. Spoiler alert, things could be getting very interesting around here. Could be quite an exciting season. Let's see why. Welcome back to Colwyn Bay. Good to have you along. If you're new, why not click a subscribe on the channel for me? That'll help me continue to grow the channel. It will keep you up to date with all of the things that I release as well. And maybe also click a like on this particular episode. That would be fantastic. And it's going to be an interesting episode. There are reasons why this is going to be quite an exciting season. I would say there's a couple of reasons. And the first off is if we go into the championship itself, the JD Cymru North championship, the division, should I say. You can see that there's already been one game played for a couple of teams, but we're going to start today against Colwyn. But if we go into the season preview, wow, we are 91-1 odds-on favourites to win this division. I'm not quite sure how we've managed to do that necessarily, although there is one player that might be having a big impact on that, but 91-1 odds on. Airbus UK came down from the division above us. You remember that Kevin Druids went up last season, having been 20-1 odds on favourites, I think it was, to win this division last time round. And there is only one promotion spot, remember, so we have to get that top spot to get up. But if we're not going to do it this year, I'm not quite sure when we will be able to do it. 91-1. I had quite a busy summer transfer window. Let's go check that out. So you can see that there's quite a few players come in through the doors this season. It doesn't look like we got rid of much. We did actually. Gareth Davis went on a free transfer. If we go up here and go to released players, you'll see that we did actually release quite a lot. Ultimately, there was a fair amount of players in our squad that I just didn't think was going to be able to move us forward particularly. And I wanted to put my own stamp on this particular squad and try and make it a bit more mine. So we did that. So quite a few players have gone. One that went because I didn't want him to, particularly this guy, Ruben Davies, was our top goal scorer last season. Bear him in mind for in a minute's time. We'll need to remember him. But he just wanted to move on, unfortunately. I think he was basically fed up that we were still getting second place in the division, because remember, before we arrived here, Colwyn Bay finished second and didn't get promoted 3 seasons in a row before last season, a number 4 second place finish, and he just decided he wanted to move on. There was nothing I could do about it. He knew his contract was running down. He refused to sign, said he wanted to leave, and that was that basically. So he went, but bear him in mind for a minute or two. If we go back to all transfers, we have to go back one season just to the end point here to find our first player of the summer transfer window. You might remember that this, sorry, not that one, this guy, Joshua Bailey, came into the club last season. Didn't do particularly well, but this is the type of level of player that we're working with. We're trying to find a couple of key attributes and maybe a little bit of good physicals, and then that's as good as we can find, really. But he came in at left fullback and will be our number 1 left fullback this season. But just to confuse matters, we've brought in, alongside Joshua Bailey, we've brought in a new player called Josh Bailey. Completely different person, but he comes into the club and he's going to be a central defender rotating option, basically. Not going to be my first choice, but he comes in just to add a little bit of competition for places. And bearing in mind that our rotating options last season had in key attributes probably 7s and 8s, maybe a 9 or 2. You can see that we've just about upgraded that one, and that's kind of what we're looking to do across the board, really. Just upgrade those attributes, those key attributes, as much as is possible at the level that we're playing at. So that's Josh Bailey in the club as one of our central defensive options. And now we get to the other 7. Let's quickly run through these. Luke Jones is going to play in the same role that Ruben Davies played in. Now, he doesn't have quite the attributes in terms of his technicals, but what he does have is a good amount of strength, a good amount of jumping reach. He's 6'3". He's got a little bit of flair somehow, a bit aggressive, and hopefully we're going to be using him as the target forward. He was the best target forward I could find, and that's saying something, isn't it, really, because he's not exceptional. I'm not expecting a bucket load of goals from this guy. I'm really not, because his partner in crime might be getting a bucket load of goals. So this guy is there holding up the ball, hopefully using his strength and bringing other players in. With a passing of 9, that should be good enough to get the ball around to other members of the team. So the next one in is this guy, Lewis Foster. And Lewis Foster comes in at right fullback. He's going to be the reserve fullback, the rotating option in the right fullback position. You can see, again, it's about getting a couple of key attributes. And on him, it's about tackling, positioning, determination, decisions are good. He's got good natural fitness, and the rest of it is distinctly average, isn't it, really? But hopefully he can do a job when called upon for us in that right fullback position. So that's Lewis Foster. The next one on our list is this guy, Dave Page. He's a youngster. He's not in our first team squad yet. He might be in there next season, possibly, depending on how he does in our lower sides. But the reason I brought him into the club is because I think, actually, if we remember about the target forward that we've got, Luke Jones, this guy, if we remember, I think this Dave Page might be able to come in and be the rotating option for him in a year or so if he gets a little bit of football in our lower sides. So Dave Jones comes in, but he's got great heading for 19 at this level, lots of interesting mentals and some pretty good physicals, including 12 in strength. And a good jumping reach. So hopefully in the future we can bring this guy into our main squad. We'll see. Next one up is Danny Jones. And Danny Jones is going to be the rotating option down our right-hand side of midfield. He's got crossing of 10. Anything else in his technicals not particularly spectacular. But again, good determination, a bit of flair. Some very good physicals is why we brought him in. For this level, 11 pace, natural fitness of 13, some good acceleration of 15. That's not too bad at all. So he's going to go and play down the right-hand side occasionally, get some game times, and ultimately we'll see what he can provide for us. But again, that 10 crossing is better than what I had last season in my rotating option on the right-hand side of midfield. So that's why he's been brought in. Paul Bullock is in, and he's a youngster, 16 years old, and we brought him into the first team squad primarily because of his physicals. And again, he's going to be a rotating option down the left-hand side. So we've got quite a couple of good youngsters in our squad. Again, it's the same sort of story. Crossing is reasonable. He's got good teamwork, good technique, but his physicals will be the thing that I'm looking for. Can he use that to get himself up and down that left-hand side and get some crosses in, however good the quality is, and let's see if we can make something of it. He's not our first choice left-sided player, but he is going to play a bit for us, and he comes into the club at 16 and will potentially improve quite a bit over the next couple of seasons, you'd imagine. The next one is this guy, Jordan Evans. And Jordan Evans comes in and will be the first choice left-sided player. Both of our left-sided players have changed. Gammond, who was playing at left wing last season for us, remains in the club, but he's now going to be covering left fullback. He could potentially do both last season, but we chose to play him in the wing position. And this time round, I'm putting him back in what is potentially a slightly more natural position for him in the rotating option for left fullback behind Joshua Bailey. So that's where Gammond is now fitting into the squad. So I needed a new left winger. And this is the best I could find. 29-year-old Jordan Evans comes in, 9 of crossing, dribbling is 9, corners are 9. So there's some better stuff there than what we've had previously. His mentals are pretty ropey, but there's a few 9s and a 10 in there. And then we've got some stamina and some pace in him. And again, that's what I was basing him around, really. It's as good as I could find, and it is a bit of an upgrade, just in little areas on what we've had before. It might not look it, but this is the level of player that we're dealing with. Now, bearing that in mind and thinking about Ruben Davies that we looked at before, the final member of our new squad we bought on a free transfer. He is our player because his contract was running down. Thomas Johnson comes into the club. Now, Thomas Johnson is 16 years old and will immediately be my number 1 striker for this season. And let's go and find out why. He's not going to be the most spectacular player you've ever seen, but compare him to the rest of what we've bought in. This guy is sensational. He's got a composure of 13. So when he gets through on goal, that's not too bad at 16 years old. But a 15 in finishing for a 16-year-old striker out of 20 is pretty magnificent. And he's got a reasonable amount of physicals. And those are the only things I want him to have. He's going to be playing as a poacher. He's going to be getting on the end of things and putting the ball in the back of the net using 15 finishing, 13 composure, and a little bit of pace and acceleration to get there. End of story. He's played 1 competitive match for us so far, and he scored a hat-trick in it. Now, excuse me. The competitive match was not a league match. That's what we start today. It was in the cup competition, and it was against an old rival of ours in Keffin Druids. And they went unbeaten last season, if you remember, in our league and went up as the promoted side. And to start this season, we went and beat them 4-3 away from home. That is how much things have changed over the summer. And look at that run of friendly fixtures. 4-0, 5-2, 2-0, 4-0, 6-0, and then a 4-3 in the cup competition against Keffin Druids. Now, granted, they were against low-level sides out of the table, so it wasn't even comparable teams to who we are. But even so, that's the type of friendly list I wanted to have. I wanted to build up the morale and momentum behind us. And seemingly it worked in this mad game against Keffin Druids. We went up really quickly, and at 55 minutes, we were at 3-1. They came back into the game in the last 10 minutes and scored another couple of goals. 4-1 we were up at that point. And they got a couple of goals to get back to 3-4. But ultimately, we managed to hold firm. And a 9.8 average rating for that game for Thomas Johnson with a hat-trick was pretty sensational. Can he do the same today? Let's find out. So you'll notice that pretty much I try and list my players in my first team 11 from 1 to 11. So the only one that's missing today is this guy, right fullback, Ryan George. Our number 2 is out for today. He picked up a knock in the game against Keffin Druids, unfortunately. And so Foster comes in to play for him at the right fullback position. But everybody else is fit and healthy and raring to go. We've kept exactly the same tactic that we've had from last season. A couple of little minor tweaks, very minor tweaks, just for new players coming in as to how they might play roles, but nothing more than that. And we will see how we get on in this particular campaign. But after a 4-3 win against arch rivals Keffin Druids in the cup game in the last outing, our league campaign starts away from home at Colwyn. And let's see if we can get off to a fantastic start and show why we are 91-1 odds on favourites. If we do not win this league now, in this particular season, I think I might just have to quit Football Manager. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. But for today, our team for Colwyn is Coughlin in goal, Foster at right back, Joshua Bailey at left back, Grogan and Davies in central defence, Scott and Woodford in central midfield, Jackson on the right, Evans on the left, and Jones and Johnson up top, with a bench of Josh Bailey, Gammond, Thompson, Jones, Bullock, Lake and Spruce. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. Really simple team talk here. Hands in pockets. We're favourites. Go and play like it. Simple as, really. There's nothing else to say at this point in the season. We are so big a favourite for this league title. Any team that we come up against, even potentially Airbus, I just expect us to win. And I expect us to do it pretty dominantly, to be honest. We'll have to wait and see how that works out. Free kick for us outside the area. Evans with a long shot, and it gets tipped over the bar, I think, from the goalkeeper that will send it out for a corner kick. And Jackson will take the corner kick into the 6-yard box. They get it partially cleared, and they're going to counter-attack on us, Colwyn. So we'll see how they do when they get their opportunities. But the highlight goes on that occasion. But 9 minutes in, we've had all of the shots at goal so far. 3, 1 on target. A little bit less possession, but that's okay. But I just expect us to win everything. I mean, why wouldn't we? We're such big odds-on favourites for the title. It's going to be a little bit disappointing if we don't get off to that good start, especially having beaten Kefin Druids in our previous game in the cup competition. That was a pretty magnificent result, I must say, and one that I wasn't totally expecting. I expected that they would have improved their squad quite considerably, having moved up to the top flight in Wales over the summer and caused us some problems, but they really kind of didn't. But having talked about causing us some problems, it's typical, isn't it? It's utterly typical. Colwyn have decided to do that, and they found the first goal. Our 91-1 odds-on favourites to the title are now 1-0 down from a very good goal down the left side of the box. They got it out that wide left-hand side and just cut it across the centre of the penalty box, and their striker got there first and poked it home for a 1-0 lead. Not what I'm looking for in the slightest. I mean, we've had 12 shots at goal, but only 5 on target. We need to up that ratio just slightly. And we need to get a couple of chances properly for our new number 9, Johnson. If he's not having the chances, he can't score the goals, can he? 2 shots at goal for Colwyn, 13 for us. Our XG rating, the expected goals, is far superior to theirs. We've had a little bit more possession. Our pass completion is decent as well. And we find ourselves 1-0 down. Welcome to Football Manager 2022, I would say. But what it does mean is we can go in and we can thrash the arms about and tell them they've been terrible, kick them straight back out the dressing room and go back into the shouts and fire them up for this second half. And potentially we can move into our more attacking version of our structured 4-4-2. Nothing changes of the shape. We've dropped another goal. Oh, for goodness sake. 5 minutes into the second half, off a near post corner, they get a second goal before we've even got going. But our attacking formation doesn't change the style of play. No, it changes the style of play. The formation doesn't change too much. We push our wide men forward. But other than that, everybody else stays roughly where they are. And it's just about a tactical shift in style of play, getting the ball up quicker, etc., and just being more attacking in general. And it's not working at all. This is ridiculous. Colwyn having another free kick. Fortunately, the goalkeeper gathers that one. He's going to clear it for us. Evans, there we go, up on the left-hand side. This is a perfect chance to counter-attack. Woodford across to Jackson. Plenty of space. And that's the sweeping move of the attacking version of our style of setup. In motion there for you. Evans picks it up very nicely down the left-hand side, puts it through to Woodford, the Metzala. He's been brilliant for us last season, hoping for more for the same from him this season. And he sets up Jackson off this right-hand wing, cutting in, supporting the play and poking the ball home at this near post as we look at it. We've got half an hour to play, roughly, just under now, about 20 minutes. Its time is ticking away. Can we continue to get into the game? We can. Gareth Davis, a central defender, came into the squad in the second half of last season and is doing really very, very well for us. Along with Johnson, the new striker, It's that guy that is our second best player, as it were, in the best 11 that we can put out, apparently. So that's one worth keeping hold of. Scott, who came in again middle of last season, did well. Didn't do so well there. Lost the ball for us. And now we're going to have to go and regain it again as they again come down at us, down the left-hand side, get into the box, and then a really wild shot. 2-2 with about 20 minutes to play. We found ourselves back into the game. Can we keep the momentum up? We're going to make a couple of changes here at 74 minutes. And unfortunately, it's the new guy, Thomas Johnson, who's obviously not getting the opportunities to put the ball in the back of the net. 6.4 his rating. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt just this once. If he continues to underperform, we'll put him on the bench. Maybe he's not quite ready mentally to be a first-team player in the league at 16. Who knows? But we'll have to see, because in theory, he should be. But what we're going to do is make a couple of changes further back and hopefully get him a few more options. So Bailey comes out at left fullback. Gammond goes in there and plays that role. We're going to change up his partner. Luke Jones is going to come out. Lee Lake, who's been in and around the squad and didn't quite get the opportunities last season particularly, but he's going to come in and play that target forward role for us. So that will be okay. We've got one more change that we can make. And I'm just going to try as much as I can to see if we can get some better options for Thomas Johnson up front. As I say, it's not going to happen every game. If he underperforms too much, he will lose his spot. For now, we're going to change out one of the wingers and see if we can get more for him. So Danny Jones, our new right-sided winger, comes in for Brad Johnson. And we will just see how that works out for us. Johnson did well, got a goal for us, of course, on this near side as we look at it. But I just want to give as many opportunities for Thompson to get off to a good start if I can, because it's going to be imperative for his morale, really. He's a good young player. He's an exciting prospect. He's what is basically putting us so high in the favourites list. We've got to get him some goals to get him going properly. So let's see if we can do that. There's only 5 minutes left. We're still sitting at 2-2. It's a long goal kick for Colwyn, but we win the ball. Lake with the ball through to Danny Jones, and he skyrockets it over the top of the bar when it was probably easier to hit the target in some form or other, but that goes begging. And it looks like we're going to go down to not an early loss, please. It wasn't. Colwyn had one final shot from a free kick, and it went over the top of the bar. And that's really disappointing. Really disappointing. Our new number one guy, the superstar of the league, got a really, really bad 6.5 average rating. And we'll just give him, as I say, the benefit of the doubt. As a young, early prospect in this season, we're going to have to nurture him a little bit. But he should be on the end of things and scoring goals. Let's see what we can do next time out with him. The rest of the team played okay. You can see the likes of Jackson on the right was doing great. Evans on the left was doing great. Our central midfield pair and our central defensive pair were all really good. We just have to find a way to get some more shots for our number one guy. 25 shots at goal, 10 on target, a 2.1 XG rating, 52% of the play, 83% pass completion. It was all pretty good. We just let 2 goals in. And that's really disappointing. Maybe it was our fullbacks that let us down a little bit, unfortunately, on this occasion, stopping those crosses coming in, etc. Not the start I wanted, but it was away from home. It is a new squad with 3 or 4 players in and around that first team that haven't played with us before. I'm just kind of making up excuses now. Just wasn't good enough, was it really? But hopefully, next time, it will be. So it wasn't the all-conquering start. It's not win the first game and carry on regardless. It's a stuttering start, but it's a start nonetheless. We'll just have to see if we get better over the next few weeks. Let's go into the schedule and just finish off this episode, figure out what we're coming back for next. What we're actually coming back for next, I've just found in the immediate future, is Airbus UK, the team that were relegated into our division this season and potentially our number one rivals for that promotion spot. We're home to them in the middle part of September. So we've got about a month away for that to see if we can find some good form and go into that game in a really good frame of mind. So that's the plan. Airbus United at home next episode. If between now and then we can get going properly, there's some away fixtures in there which will be tricky. Llandudno is a couple of games from now and they finished just behind us in the league last season. So it's not going to be all our own way in theory, but it kind of should be. And it's time to start making that happen. So let's see if we can do that. Come back next episode and join me for that one. We'll see how we get on against Airbus. Between now and then, we're going to have to see if we can find some form. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Hope you'll enjoy the continued journey of rolling in the Isles as we move forward. Thank you for joining me today, though. As I say, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join my United City community, the more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That will help me get seen by more people. Come and join me over on twitch.tv/the United City FM every weekday afternoon over there, 3 till 5 p.m. UK time, doing some stuff on a live stream. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.